All right, let's do this. It is Friday evening, January 2nd. Another case of here we go again, right? So let's start with silver, which, I mean, as ever, from the stock chart's end of day close, is always questionable on how they pin it. But officially, the close was technically up $1.42, 2% to 72.68. But that's I mean, it's a positive close, but it's way below the highs. Actually, the highs on here aren't recognized. We were way higher than this. This is just, but there's something scary about stock charts in terms of silver chart. It's better seen on the daily. But the one thing I would highlight with this, look, look at this. Daily momentum's got to turn negative on either Monday or Tuesday. That's a problem. That will be we are going to get a sell signal in silver next Monday or Tuesday, right? And you can argue it's very comparable. Look at how high we are relative to October. We're way more oversold than that, overbought than that. So we're due a sell signal, and you can see then we came down from the 54s to 46s. That's $8. We floored from around the 50-day, which of course, you know, end of next week, following week will be about $60. So we can easily drop $12. See, if you didn't want to buy silver 83, and God help anybody bought up there, we're probably gonna come down to $60. I'll cover SLV because I want to because the stock charts on the silver chart doesn't reflect it. Doesn't reflect the drop. You see, there it is. See, on this chart, you can see that we were higher than what the other one was showing. Black. Also note, look at this black candle. Anybody bold enough to be long from Wednesday will have sold at the open. And yeah, there was a teeny bit of late day upside, but I'm dismissive of it. I think again, I would say, look, okay, technically silver's short term oversold, and maybe Monday it'll open up, but I would again look for another rollover based on the monthly charts, but based on the daily and weekly charts. And yeah, let's just quickly look at silver on a weekly. I mean, look, historic 83s, settled 72s. We're we are still way overbought. Weekly momentum is starting to tick lower, and that could easily continue all the way into February, maybe all the way into March, right? You know what I did? I was buying here. I watched it come down in October, and I'm like, oh, because I thought it was going to go negative, right? It never did, and it started ticking back, and I'm like, oh my god, I guess I'm going to have to chase higher. Well, not have to, but I chose to chase higher because I rode that wave up, and now it's like, okay, now we're ticking lower again, and then we're so high, it's it's just crazy high. We need to, if you're looking to buy, and I'm looking to buy back. You want to be buying back when it's somewhere down here, right? And that's got to clearly got to take weeks. And to turn negative, that doesn't look viable until probably mid-February, late February. So we need to burn off overbought conditions in silver and gold and the miners, and that's got to take weeks. And look, this doesn't preclude the fact that we could go up again, but I just see it's just not realistic. So short term, bearish the metals and the miners. Again, I wouldn't short them, but you know. All right, where's the miners actually? We'll just cover G or D on a GDX on a weekly. I mean, look, GDX was down 6% for the week. I would note on a weekly chart, momentum is putting in a divergent lower high. We have a rollover momentum. It's not going to turn negative momentum next week, but it will. It should do it as of January the 12th, so a week Monday. And it is notable that in both previous cases, when momentum turned negative, it didn't stay negative for more than a week or 2 or 3, and then off we went again. So it's going to take 2 weeks to come down, and then, you know, the lower the better, right? Frankly, as somebody wants to buy back, let's just drag this down for a month or two, and I'm fine with that. What did copper do today? Officially, copper was up a penny. That's a black candle. Although some things get black candles and they're not as reliable. I'm kind of dismissive of that one. Anyway, miscellaneous stocks. What should we look at? Let's just flash through some of them. So that was a weird candle. So Apple was actually down 0.3%. Candle's a bit spiky on the upper side, but you gotta think it's flooring. It's flooring from the 50-day, right? Ultra Aviation. I like that for the long term, up 8%. Yeah, the air taxis, they all look good for this year. Agnico Eagle, 0.5%, but that's actually it's not a black candle, but I'm short term bearish that. American Eagle don't care. First Majestic, that's not pretty. So Wednesday's candle was a hollow red reversal. That did initially play out, but we have a big downside reversal. It's not pretty. The momentum is increasingly negative. Also, today was on higher volume, although yeah, it was on somewhat above average volume. So they're selling into strength. You got to wonder with something like this whether they could whack it down to the 200 day, say in the 11s, maybe in well, sometime in February. That looks possible. AMD up 4%. Today's candle's a little bit spiky from the 50-day, but hey, can't be bearish for semicons. We do have a bearish engulfing candle on Amazon. Don't know why. I mean, it's broadly a lot of chop though, right? So I wouldn't make too much out of it. Don't care about that. Barrack mining. It is actually that's a it's a bullish engulfing candle, but it's also a black candle, which leans short-term bearish. Boeing, solid day for Boeing. Look at that, 4.9%. That's a good sign for the bulls. It's a very good sign, actually. That was a good one. Alibaba up 6%. I would check, which does remind me of Baidu, which had news that its chip unit is going to be listing on the Hong Kong exchange. So that's up, wow, look at that, 15%. Taking out the high from early October. It's impressive. Good gains in Bank of America, 1.7%. Remember, earnings will be coming out in about, well, as of next Tuesday in a week, right? January the 13th, starting with JP Morgan. Bitmine, okay, bouncing 14%, but still, it's not pretty, right? Caterpillar, another good Dow component with solid gains. Look at where it bounced, 50-day, here, all the way along here. That's a good company. Can't be bearish. Caterpillar. Kamiko, solid gains. Again, you got to be bullish uranium. Nuclear is the future. Well, the present as well. Carnival up 1%. Don't care. Cleveland Cliffs up 2%. Coinbase 4%. And we can argue it's on the lower end. If I drag this gap across, we're basically flooring from that gap from May. Most gaps get filled, right? And that one's basically filled. So yeah, bullish Coinbase. Not a fan of the company, though. Look at that. There it is. I didn't even notice it until just this moment. Deckers. It's happening. We have a bullish breakout. 3% on the day. 106s. Next stop is 125. My grounded target is 150. The more cautious will be piling in now. Now, as in like now. Yep, it's happening. Isn't he? Just a bit of cooling. Not a fan. ET, don't care. Another one with a bearish downside reversal. Forward, bullish engulfing candle from the 50-day. It does occasionally pierce it, but it generally finds support there. Freeport up 2.2. Google black candle leans a little bit bearish for Monday, but I wouldn't get hysterical about it. Home Depot up 0.5%. Good company. You can argue it's cyclically inclined to go up. Little heckler, another one. Early gains but reversing down. Short-term bearish. Intel, solid gains for Intel at 5%. What was that? 5 or 6? 6.7. Yeah. A lot of background chatter suggesting Intel will go to $60 later this year, which I agree with. Joby Air Taxis, bullish, solid gains. JP Morgan, bullish engulfing candle up a percent. Earnings January the 13th, bullish. KKR, finding support around the 200-day and 50-day. Kinder Morgan, don't care. Cree, don't care. Don't care for Centrus. Lockheed, now look at that. Look at that candle. Wow. 2.8%. Bullish engulfing. Got to be bullish for defense stocks. That's a hell of a candle. Meta, weak. MP Materials, another one. Look at this. Look at where it floored on Wednesday from the 200-day, and today's up 8%. Impressive. 54. Basic target is 100. If you're broadly bullish the main market, you have to be bullish MP Materials on a 6 to 9 month basis. This is 54. It was 100. Remember, this was 100 when Trump and Tim Cook were talking about it in a press conference. Remember that? Everybody's already forgotten about that. But yeah, this is back on the climb. We should go up for weeks, months. Microsoft, spurious cooling down 2%. I would accept. That's a close under the 200-day. And we have an orange gap here that goes to what, 430-ish? I mean, it's not great. And of course, you have a midterm double top here. So it's not a pretty candle for what is a giant tech. Micron, no. New strike high up 10.5%, 315 already. That's incredible. Netflix, rough day down 2.9%, $90. Natural target is the April 82s and then 70. I would accept 70 still looks a stretch, but clearly the 82s, they ain't far off now. Nike. So Nike cooling back from Wednesday gains down 0.7. I wouldn't make anything of this other than the fact that in theory, soft target is resistance at 69. Anything above 70 is a midterm bullish breakout onward to 90. I think this is going to be 90. And Nvidia up 1.3%. Today's candle is black, but it does lean short-term bearish. I wouldn't be look if Monday opens red. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. Oklo, another key company that's flooring from around the 200 day. Got to be bullish nuclear. Orbs up 5%, don't care. Blue Owl, don't care. Occidental, don't particularly care. Pan American, downside reversal with the sector. Palantir, ooh, huh, didn't notice that one. I guess Michael Berry would be pleased. Down 5.5%, 167's still above the November 147. So, I mean, you can also see that it stalled after a tag of green gap. And Monday, and today's candle does lean net bearish for Monday. Maybe we'll come down and test for 200 day next week. PayPal, don't care. Don't care. Red cap, solid gains, 15% again. You got to be bullish. The future of warfare is drones, right? Transocean. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It's just like, it doesn't make any money. Stock's midterm bullish from the April low, but come on. The company doesn't make any money. Rocket Lab, initial declines. Short-term structures a bull flag. Today's candle is bullish engulfing. Solid gains. This has clearly got to go to 100, right? 100 is $25. Up at 33%. It's pretty straightforward. SMR, another nuclear stock, 15% gains. Now, in this case, this one broke well below the 200 day, unlike Oklo. Looks like it floored on Friday, and we're off and away. $16. Obvious target is 57, which is what, 200 odd percent up. I like it. Target up 2.8%, so a little cooling previous few days, and we're back on the climb. Resistance 115 and then 145. I definitely think this could be 145 by late summer. Tesla was down on garbage sales data. I mean, you can see it's lost for 50 day. But hey, we shouldn't be surprised at the sales data. Take two and 1.7. Don't know why. And the problem is, Grand Theft Auto is not due for still at least 5 months. I still need to get around to checking that, but I think it's out in May. UAL, don't care. UEC, again, nuclear. You got to be bullish uranium. Solid gains, 12% in the 13s. This is got to go to 20, 25, right? It's just a matter of when. United Health up 1.9%, 336. This is another one. It's about to break up and away. It's going to break up. Target then be 472, which looks possible. I mean, hell, we could be up there in February or March. January looks out of range, but February and March, we could be printing 460, 470. Again, the cautious are going to wait for it to break above, but it's almost there. And Exxon up 1.9%. Actually, that is a new historic high in the 122s. Bullish engulfing candle. Very impressive considering oil. But let's just jump to oil. I mean, oil itself was officially down 10 cents on the day, 57's. Garbage, right? But again, for the global economy, this is all very good. Not good for the energy stocks, right? But not just the U.S. economy, but the global economy. This is very good for the global economy. Cheap oil. I don't really care about nat gas, but give a reversal candle from a 200 day for what it's worth. Um, Finally, I mean S&P was few swings today. We do have a black candle, and they generally play out. So, I mean, maybe we'll come down to the 50-day briefly next week, maybe Monday, Tuesday, and then off we go again. But I'm kind of dismissive of this. You could argue, I mean, you could argue structure's a bull flag, although it's a bit long and it's a bit too steep. But yeah, the default would be to look for maybe a little bit of cooling early Monday, but then reversing upwards. And you can see here daily momentum did turn negative today, but I'm not going to get too finicky about that because I will actually mention the fact that the two leaders, the Russell, up 1% today, and it spiked from the 50-day. That bodes pretty good. And the old leader, transports, was also up 1%, bullish engulfing candle. And you can argue the last couple of weeks is just consolidation before we go. I think transports is going to break above 18K and then onwards to 20K. In fact, if you look on even a weekly chart, it's not big enough perspective, is it? Yeah, look at this though. Oh, look at all this chop. Years of chop. You go above 80, you go above 18K. Anything sustained above 18K, we should go to 20K quite easily by the spring. Remember, cheap oil, right? Cheap oil should be propelling the transports upwards. I accept it's not had such a great one. I mean, it's done okay since April with the main market, but broadly, it's been a lot of chop since 2021, right? Been stuck around here, but we are going to break. We're going to break above 18K and onwards to 20. That appear. I'm just resigned to that. Anything else? I don't know. I don't think there is. A number of charts that will need adjusting, of course. New year. All of these year-to-date charts need to be adjusted, which is a pain. Stock charts has various quirky issues with those charts. What should we end with? I don't know. Oh, you know what I didn't check today? In terms of the weekly charts, the MAs have caught. Remember, new month and the MAs have adjusted. So I would note that the 10 MA is now up to 64.56. So I have to see the market is midterm bullish unless we go under this little red line here. Can't take the bears seriously unless we're under, say, you could even round it down. You could say uh, not bearish unless we're under 6,400. And I would accept, though, you could argue, hey, price structure is getting a bit flat toppy here, right? So we need to break above 69.45, preferably this month. And then we can go up to 7K. We actually, the Bollinger is now adjusted and stands at 7,071. So we can be 7100s late January, early Feb, and then maybe 72, 7300s in March. That looks realistic now. I will accept momentum is weakening, but you can have negative momentum, well, not negative, but you can have weakening momentum, and the market can still claw up for a number of months. So, I mean, look at that, just the entire year and just a little tiny piece of my screen. It's like that's all it is. Another year. That is sobering. You think about it. 12 candles. There's number one. I just can't see. I mean, my outlook is this. It's just frankly simple. It's like net bullish into September, bearish into the midterms, and then net bullish again into 27. The fact that the Fed are doing QE is just, I think most people are actually overlooking it still. or they just can't take it seriously, as though $480 billion being thrown at the capital markets doesn't really matter. And ironically, people might only start to pay it some attention again when we see the Fed increase QE, which I believe will happen between June and August, which, when you're talking 6, 9 months away, maybe. But yeah, spinning printers. Printers are going to keep juicing this nonsense. Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there. I wish you a good weekend and be good.